guys, how's it going? Hope you are well. Looks like we're going to be doing some more work on this bike. Um, yeah, it kind of pisses me off that I went and took the swing arm on the back off the extension before I moved because I was worried it wouldn't fit in this apartment. It would have fit in here fine. Um, so now I've been using obviously the rack, which I do not like. It kind of reminds me of the 2001 Swin eyes that I used with the lead acid batteries. Uh, it works, but man, it's top heavy and swings all over. It really does not feel very good. Not to mention that I have no working shock. It's just solid bar. We're going to be putting that back in today. I hit a mean pothole in this thing and it literally tried to shove that seat up my ass, so I'm done with that. My poor spine was like S-shaped. Now there's two ways of going about this once I get rid of this rack. My first idea was obviously this rear end is all steel, and I was thinking of making a bar going from here to here and then having something that bolts here and holds the bar up and everything else. Then you run into some issues with that design wise. This bottom hole here, wherever it's mounted to, is going to see a lot of force because you're going to have twisting force plus the weight and everything else. Even if you use a machine bolt here and not a standard bolt, the frame's going to open up over time. It's going to wiggle loose and it's going to slam into the wheel. So let's try to avoid that. Since this bike is for testing parts on it anyway, and I really don't need to pedal it, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both crank arms like this. Basically unbolt this and swing it over, but I'll have them both going like this just so you have something to put your feet on, and run a bolt through the crank into the frame. This way it doesn't move, and basically you just put your feet on it. I wouldn't want to put it all the way down like that because you take a mean turn, you're going to bottom out. That's going to suck. And you don't want it up like this because then you're going to have your knees way up. It's going to look stupid. So I'm thinking right about there on both sides, both of them hanging out. I mean, the pedals are still there, it's still legal. I don't really pedal that much anyway. When I run out of batteries, I tend to walk it unless it's really, really flat roads, because you have both hub motors and the batteries. This thing weighs a lot. So what that will do is, now that I don't have to pedal and I don't have to worry about my heel hitting the battery, I have all this area to work with. Now what I'm thinking of doing is running a bar from this hole here over to here, right about here. Yeah, so I'm thinking from there to there. And then another one bolted from there to there. This way, the bar that come across here to anchor your battery to can bolt here and there, and that's really all you need. And then this will just hook right in there like that. It's perfect. And like, this is heavy. This is about 40 pounds of battery. Each one of them about 40 pounds. And then you got these levers here that I had to set up. I could actually put something on the frame that you just basically hook to it and lock it down so it doesn't swing around. And basically it won't be pedaled. Won't be able to pedal it. I'm happy with that, as long as I got my shock. And this will move with the shock. As you can see, I have a flat. That's the second one I've got. The reason for that is because there's no shock. You get all the weight on the back of this bike, and then you hit a mean pothole, it just kills your tire. Not to mention the rim. I've had to, since I've had this setup here, I've had to trim the wheel twice because it just stretches the spokes right out when you hit all these mean potholes. I barely get a flat with this bike when the shock is on it, so I wasn't really happy with that design. We're going to move this for now over to here and extend the phase wires and everything else. And then once I get the cash together, we're going to replace both of them with something new. But I figured that's the easiest way, and like that'll be a decent setup. At least I can just put my feet up, and like these pedals here are already starting to seize. These are the you see the brand name there. Yeah, they're getting tight already. The oil's drying up on them, but they're not coming loose. The bearings aren't loose, so I'll give them that. But they are tight. It's actually loosening up as I move it. Wow, that tells me that the oil is really getting thick. So that's pretty much what I'm doing today. I'm just going to get the rack off, the shock back on, and then I'll see about getting some materials for here. I might be able to reuse this. This is thick enough that it'll latch to the battery, and I can bolt this to here and just bring it over and cut it and go from there. Well, let's get this thing apart. I'm dying to see what it's going to look like without the rack and my shock back, because I hate this setup. Yeah, this one here was cheap, but it's held up pretty good. Probably needs to be pumped up again. Yeah, even the sleeves are held up pretty good. And already, you can see the frame is the back, the front was like that, and now it's more like that. So it's changed the diametry of the frame. It's probably going to ride a lot better. This actually worked when you're in a pinch, but it's not recommended if you value your ass. But I did make it a solid frame for a little while. It doesn't look like it's separated the holes much. It's pretty cool. This is what I was talking about. Maybe I could split this in half, but we could put something like that. At least I have something to bolt to. If I have another hole to work with, if I don't want to go with that one. That was covered by the clamp for the rear rack. But we're going to pull that apart for parts. And figure out all this wiring. Christ almighty. I could probably get rid of this sense. Oh, I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to maybe tie that up. I don't know. Take this off. I could probably get it off and get the sensor off there. I'm not going to be using it anyway. It's just really nice to have that back. Alright, let's keep going. I guess next is get the wiring out of the way and do something about the crank. Okay, that's about as far as I got so far. Just checking the theory here, which will work out. As you can see the bar going across there, it's already hooked to it. It's just sitting on a wrench right now. It's bolted to the back. That will work. Obviously you can't pedal. Got the pedals basically like that for now. I'm going to put them on a little bit more of an angle this way, a little bit lower. That way I don't have my knees way up. You're probably wondering, well, okay, if you bolt that, what if you back pedal or walk the bike back and the cluster kicks in? We'll place the cluster with one with, I take the pins out, and then that way it doesn't matter if you go forward or reverse, it won't catch. It's just there for decoration. It just freewheels in both directions, basically. So that'll work. I don't have to worry about my heel hitting the battery because I'm not pedaling. But, yep. As you can see, my idea of putting the bar going down like that is a good idea because they're kicked in like that. Once I put the bar there and I mount that bar to it, it'll straighten it out like that. Or I can leave it like that. Don't really matter. But I'd rather have them like that versus like that. But that would be pretty strong. It's not going to go anywhere. And then what I can do is I can mount something to the frame right there so I can latch it to keep it from flopping out like that. I don't think I have to latch front and back. I can just do the back to keep it from moving. So that's going to work out pretty good. But obviously, I got a long way to go, and I don't need to get it all done in one day. So I will call it a day, and I will see you in the next one. Later, guys.